We've worked with Shakespeare's Macbeth, Act 2, Scene 2, and I'm Asmus.
And I'm Kalle.
And I'm Jacob.
Hey! First off, I'll analyze a couple of the themes that present themselves throughout the text, and then, yeah,
I will take
Kalle.
some too, and Jakob will look at the figurative language in the text, in the scene. Yeah.
And a clear theme throughout scene 2 is the visions of manhood, the different roles that they have, and also the hierarchy which presents itself between Macbeth and her husband. Lady Macbeth talks to Macbeth in a way that kind of belittles him. The following quotation is from line 53 to 55, and it shows how Macbeth's manhood is threatened by Lady Macbeth's way of showing more bravery than him and more fearlessness than Macbeth. And the quotation goes as following, and this is Lady Macbeth talking. Give me the daggers, the sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. This the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. Sorry. This situation has occurred because Macbeth has carried the daggers, the murder weapons from the murder scene to Lady Macbeth. And instead of just covering the drunken sleeping guard's hands in King Duncan's blood and then putting the daggers in their hands so it looks like they killed him, he has brought them. Lady Macbeth is therefore willing to go an extra length and risk more and take the daggers from Macbeth and go back to the scene and put them in the hands of the guards. And this is where Macbeth is fearing what he, how far he will go, and where Lady Macbeth kind of takes over and is the man in this role. Yes. Yeah. In addition to this, line 58 and to 60 and lines 64 to 65 also have a clear relevance. They go as following. Macbeth is talking right now. Whence is that knocking? How isn't with me when every noise appeals me? What hands are here? Hath they plucked out my eyes? Macbeth is getting paranoid, and after killing Duncan, and when standing in the yard, he looks around and he feels that he hears knocking, and it's maybe just a paranoia talking to him, but that's what kind of scares him a lot. And that's where Lady Macbeth goes in and says, my hands are of your color, but ashamed to wear a heart so white. Which means that she's just as guilty as him, but she would be ashamed of herself if her heart was just as weak as his. And that's again a moment where um, Lady Macbeth is belittling the way that the roles are and ensuring that she's higher in the hierarchy or more brave than the man. Yes. Yeah, she's basically calling him what you would call a chicken or a pussy. Yes.
Yes, this leads us to the next theme that has relevance for this scenes, which is ambition, greed, and evilness. The whole act of killing King Duncan is in order to gain power, and this can be interpreted as an ambition. That ambition has a role in this. As Asmus said, Lady Macbeth forces this wish to gain power onto Macbeth, which is just following his wife's thoughts and so on. He wants the power, but Lady Macbeth is much more into getting this power.
And also have different ways of getting to the power than
yes,
people.
exactly. This is seen in both quotation that Asmus just mentioned, and just mention, and this has to do with something like the follower quotation, and this is Lady Macbeth speaking. Oh no, I'm afraid the servants woke up and the murder didn't happen. For us to attempt the murder and not succeed would ruin us. Lady Macbeth fears that her husband is not committing to this crime that they have done, and the accomplishment of the deed is not looked well upon from Macbeth.
Which will result in them not gaining the power, and especially Lady Macbeth one.
And now I want to talk. I want to talk a bit of the power of the of the of the of the of the imaginary in this poem, because the imaginary in every poem is used to show the reader a picture with the language, and it's also a very strong way of doing it because it is so good visual. You can read it in the text and then you get a picture up in your head, and that's the meaning with it. And in the poem, the author will use words to create the images in our head, and those images will then help the reader to understand the text a little bit better, because Shakespeare has some thoughts with the lines he gives us. For example, like both Kalle and Asmus said, we got one here, Lady Macbeth talking, where she said, "My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white." And here he gives us a sentence, and then with this sentence we get pictures in our heads that Macbeth is as cruel as Lady Macbeth, but Lady Macbeth don't have such a bad conscience where something in her says it's the wrong thing to do. Sometimes she just has to do what she has to do. Yes.
Okay. And we will do dramatization. Macbeth, Act 2, Scene 2, page 1.
Yes. And I will be starring as
Lady Macbeth, and
Lady
I will be
Macbeth.
Macbeth.
And
Der er ikke noget.
yes, also
He is moral support.
okay. Not which. And yes, we have chosen to do a modern translation of the text.
And Asmus will be Lady Macbeth, and I will be starring Macbeth. And go.
Yes.
Come.
The alcohol that has got the servants drunk has made me bold. The same liquor that quenched their thirst has fired me up. Listen, quiet. That was the all sweet with a scary good night.
Okay, because Asmus can't stop laughing, I will do Lady Macbeth, and he will do Macbeth. So. The alcohol that got the servants drunk has made me bold. The same liquor that quenched their thirst has fired me up. Listen, quiet! That was the owl that shrieked with a scary good night, like the bells they ring before they execute people. Macbeth must be killing the king right now. The doors to Duncan's chambers are open, and the drunk servants make a mockery of their jobs by snoring instead of protecting the king. I put so many drugs in their drink that you can't tell if they are alive or dead.
Who's there? What is it?
Oh no, I'm afraid the servants woke up and the murder didn't happen. For us to attempt the murder and not succeed would ruin us. Listen to that! I put the servants' daggers where Macbeth would find them. He wouldn't have missed them if Duncan hadn't reminded me of my father when I saw him sleeping. I would have killed myself.
I have done the deed. Did you not hear a voice? A noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Didn't you say something?
When?
Cut!